Part 1. The Wrong Train. My name is Emily, and I am very good at making mistakes. Last week, for example, I tried to make pancakes. They became something like black stones. My smoke alarm cried louder than me. But my biggest mistake happened on a cold autumn evening. I took the wrong train. I wanted to go home to my small town with quiet streets and sleepy cats in every window. Instead, I sat in a train that went north, far away, into the mountains. I only understood this when the ticket inspector looked at me and said, "Miss, your ticket is for the other train." My face turned red like a tomato. I wanted to jump out of the window, but the train was moving too fast. So I stayed. The train was almost empty. The lights were soft and yellow, and the windows showed black trees running outside. I sat down and told myself, "Okay, Emily, this is fine. Adventure is good. Maybe life is telling you something, and maybe life really was." Because 5 minutes later, he walked in, a young man, tall, with messy dark hair. He carried a guitar case, and his smile was a little shy, like he didn't trust the world too much. He sat across from me. Our eyes met for 1 second too long, and my silly heart did what it always does. It jumped. I told myself, "Emily, do not fall in love with a stranger on a train. That is crazy." But my heart answered, "Yes, but he has kind eyes." I looked away, tried to act normal. But then he spoke. "Excuse me," he said. His voice was warm, like tea. "Do you know if this train goes to Glenford?" I laughed, maybe too loud. "I don't even know where this train goes. I'm lost too." And just like that, two strangers in the wrong place began a story. A story that I think will change everything. Part 2. Tea, Music, and Secrets. The train moved like a slow animal through the night. The sound was soft and heavy, clack, 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 almost like a heartbeat. I sat across from the stranger with the guitar case and tried not to stare. Of course I failed. I always fail. "First time on this train?" he asked. "Yes," I said. "And also last time, I hope. I wanted to go home, but I took the wrong train. Now I'm going, who knows where." He smiled. It was a small smile, but it made his face brighter. "Then maybe you are lucky. Sometimes the wrong train takes us to the right place." I wanted to say something smart, something deep, but my brain only found, "Or to the wrong place with no food." He laughed, and it was a nice laugh, not too loud, not too cold, the kind of laugh that makes you want to hear it again. "My name is Daniel," he said. "Emily," I answered. We shook hands like two people in a business meeting, but inside my head there were fireworks. After a few minutes, the train stopped at a small station. Nobody got on, nobody got off. The doors opened, the cold air ran inside, and then the doors closed again. The world outside was dark and quiet. Daniel opened his bag and pulled out a thermos. "Do you want some tea?" he asked. I wanted to say no because my mother always told me never drink tea from strangers on trains. But then my stomach made a loud sound, like a hungry bear. So I said, "Yes, please." The tea was warm, sweet, and safe. Maybe too sweet, but I liked it. "You play guitar?" I asked, looking at his case. "Yes," he said. "I play, but not very well, but enough to make the neighbors angry." I smiled. "Can you play something now?" "On the train?" "Why not? We already broke the rules of life. Wrong train, wrong tea, maybe also wrong concert." He thought for a second, then opened the case. The guitar looked old, but it had a soft shine, like it carried many stories inside. He played a quiet melody, simple and slow. The sound filled the empty wagon, gentle like rain on a roof. I closed my eyes for a moment. It felt like a lullaby, like the world was safe and kind. When I opened them, I saw Daniel watching me. His eyes were dark, but there was light inside. "You look sad," he said softly. I wanted to deny it, but I could not. "Sometimes I am, maybe too often." "Me too," he said. "But music helps." The train kept moving. Time passed, but it felt like it stopped. I forgot that I was lost, that I should have been home. I only knew that I was here, sitting with him. Then he asked me something strange. "Emily, do you believe in fate?" I blinked. "Like destiny? The universe making a plan for us?" "Yes." I wanted to laugh, but his face was serious. "I don't know," I said slowly. "Sometimes life feels like a big mess, like soup with too much salt. But maybe there is a reason. Maybe the wrong train is not wrong." He nodded, as if my silly answer was the most important truth. But then his smile disappeared. He looked down at the guitar, his fingers touching the strings without sound. His voice became lower. "Sometimes fate is heavy. Sometimes it brings us to places we don't want to go." I wanted to ask more, but his eyes told me not to. So I stayed quiet. The night grew darker. The train was still empty, just us and the soft yellow lights. Daniel leaned back, and I noticed how tired he looked, like he carried something heavy inside. And for the first time that evening, I felt a little afraid. Not of him, but of the story I had just stepped into. Because sometimes the wrong train does not only bring adventure, sometimes it brings secrets. And I was sure Daniel had one. Part 3. A Stranger's Story. The train rocked gently, like a cradle. Outside, the world was black, only a few lonely lights far away. Inside, the yellow lamps hummed softly above us. Daniel sat with his guitar on his lap. His eyes looked at the window, but I felt he was not watching the trees or the night. He was watching something inside his own mind. I wanted to break the silence. Silence makes me nervous. I usually say something stupid when it is too quiet. So I asked, "Do you travel often?" He smiled a little. "Too often. I never stay long in one place." "Why not?" He thought for a moment. Then he answered, "Because sometimes a place remembers you too well, and sometimes people remember too." That sounded mysterious. It also sounded a little sad. I tried to joke. "So you are a secret agent? Running from the government?" His laugh was short but warm. "No, I'm not that interesting." But then, more softly, almost to himself, he added, "Sometimes it's easier to leave than to stay." I didn't know what to say. My heart felt tight, like a knot. The train stopped again, at another tiny station. A dog barked in the distance, and then everything was quiet again. Nobody entered. Nobody left. It was still only us. Daniel opened his guitar case once more. He played a new melody, slower, darker, almost like a whisper. I listened carefully. "That sounds sad," I said. "It is," he answered. "I wrote it last year, for someone I lost." I held my cup of tea tighter. "Lost, you mean?" He nodded. "She was very close to me, and then she was gone." My chest hurt for him, even if I didn't know the full story. I wanted to reach out, to touch his hand, but I didn't. Maybe it was too soon. Maybe it was too personal. Still, I said softly, "I'm sorry." He looked at me for a long moment. His eyes were deep, like they carried an ocean of things he could not say. Then he whispered, "Maybe fate put me on this train tonight. Maybe I was supposed to meet you." My heart jumped so high, I almost spilled the tea. "Oh," I said, because of course my brain was empty again. After that, we both grew quiet. Not the nervous silence this time, but a gentle one. I felt safe with him, even if I knew almost nothing about who he really was. Still, one thought stayed in my mind. He is running from something. He has a past that follows him. And maybe I wanted to follow him too. The train moved on into the dark. The wrong train, the wrong night, the wrong story. Or maybe The Right One, Part 4. The Shadow on the Platform. The train slowed again. This time the station was a little bigger. A yellow lamp burned above the platform, and under it stood one man. He wore a dark coat and a hat. He did not move, he only watched the train. I felt something cold in my stomach. Daniel's face changed too. The soft smile disappeared. His hand closed around the guitar case, like it was not just for music, but also for safety. "Do you know him?" I whispered. Daniel didn't answer. His eyes stayed on the man outside. The doors opened. The cold air came in. The man stepped onto the train. He walked slowly, like he had all the time in the world. His shoes made a hard sound on the floor. Step, step. Step, he passed us. For 1 second, his eyes touched Daniel's. I saw it. A flash, like two people who shared some old secret. Then the man kept walking and sat in the next wagon. I wanted to ask questions. I wanted to shout, "What is going on?" But Daniel spoke first. "Emily," he said quietly, "maybe tonight you should forget me. Forget this train. Forget everything." I shook my head. "No, I can't." His smile was small and sad. "You don't even know me." "Maybe not," I said, "but I feel like I should." The train started again. The night pressed around us, heavy and endless. Daniel looked at the dark window, then back at me. "Sometimes fate is kind," he whispered. "Sometimes it is cruel. I don't know yet what it wants from us." I touched his hand at last, just for a second. His fingers were warm, trembling a little. And in that moment, I knew. I was already too deep in his story, too deep to walk away. Final part. The last stop. The train slowed, the night almost silent. Daniel looked at me one last time, eyes full of secrets and something like love. "Remember me, Emily," he whispered, and then he was gone, into the dark, but my heart stayed with him forever.